with the games. And so we're very happy to have him to moderate this meeting. What we're going to do this evening, we're going to give the coach an opportunity to speak to us. Many of you sent your questions ahead of time. Thank you so very much for doing that. And then I'm going to ask Monica to put all the rest of us, when I finish, to put everyone else on mute. Once the coach and Frank Lee come on, then all the rest of us can come on mute. And then once he finishes, then we have the questions. Okay, so Monica, can you mute all of the rest of us?
Good. Yes.
Okay, can you mute everyone else? And then at this
Okay, Lily, you're going to have to unmute yourself.
Okay, I did. So at this point in time, I'm going to introduce Frank Lee, who is our moderator, and Coach Reginald Ruffin, who will be speaking to the Tuskegee National Alumni Association members. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
President. It's a pleasure for me to be here this evening, and I have the awesome responsibility of trying to moderate this. We're going to do it the Tuskegee way. We're going to do it fair, and we're going to do it in a timely manner. I'm delighted to have and to welcome to Tuskegee University, Coach Reginald Ruffin. Coach, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you so much, Madam President, to the Tuskegee National Alumni Association. I am blessed and honored to stand before you tonight, just to come to you as the athletic director, the vision of this program. I know it's been some problems over the years, but Tuskegee University, when you see what I have started with these young student athletes, it's the standard. When you talk about Tuskegee University, you talk about a brand, you talk about history, you talk about legacy. Legacy for me, for my grandfather is a graduate of Tuskegee. Many of my siblings, for nieces and nephews are graduates of Tuskegee. Unfortunately, I was not a graduate of Tuskegee. I chose to go different than my whole family who are HBCU grads. But I am excited to be at a place where I'm loved. I'm excited to be at a place that care about the students, care about the legacy, care about Tuskegee, and I'm glad and blessed to be here.
Ruffin, we are so delighted. We are just delighted to have you back here in Tuskegee. And this evening, our format will be pretty basic. There have been questions that have been submitted, and we will read those questions and allow you the opportunity to respond. I have been also advised that there are some people who have maybe not registered for this Zoom call. There is a strong possibility that your call may drop. So if you did not register for this call and you lose the connection, that is the reason why. We will proceed on tonight. I'm Frank Lee, and I am a graduate of Tuskegee University, the class of 1979 and 1980. And I have the opportunity to be the voice of the Golden Tigers for over 30 years. It's a pleasure for me to have this opportunity to bring Coach Ruffin and allow him to answer questions that have been submitted by our Tuskegee alumni tonight. We will proceed with those questions, Madam President, and if you would allow us to, we'll go ahead and go right into it. Coach Ruffin, you know that as you come into this program, there are a lot of challenges, and our alumni are asking the question, what are your plans, your basic format, your map for revitalizing the athletic program at Tuskegee University?
Well, you know, my first couple of weeks since I've been here has been more of assessing and also kind of correcting some of the things that need to be what we call win. When I say the word win, it means what's important now. I don't want to repeat to alumni that what we had with the band situation, and we have similar situation going on with athletics, with our student athletes, just from my assessment. Number one, we have the top ranked women's basketball team who we don't know anything about because we never had a SID over the past few months. So with the blessing to actually go out and finally offer a SID, offer and the guy accept the job. So we now have an SID on board, which we need to be able to get our student athletes to, be able to be represented from this university. And when it comes to terms of NCAA playoff implication for our women's basketball. But my assessment has been with the student athletes. And a lot of the student athletes feel neglected when it comes to facility, Alumni Association when it comes to scholarships, our men and women ratio equity when it comes to scholarships is tilted. When it comes to salary, when it comes to salaries for our men and women male to female ratio of coaches is tilted. And so that's some of the things that you got to clean in-house to keep the NCAA at bay and keep us in line with what we're doing and trying to do or trying to accomplish as an institution. One of the things that I really is concerned about is our facilities. And I'm definitely concerned about getting ahead. When I say getting ahead, having an opportunity to recruit the best student athletes. And in terms of, we know what Tuskegee offers academically, but what do they offer a student athlete in terms of athletically when it comes to facility, when it comes in terms of, scholarship dollar, because our baseball team, our softball team, our tennis team, our track team, our cross country team, they all are getting 2 scholarships or less. And we're not even compared or even in the vicinity of what they call equivalency when it comes to scholarships for our non-revenue sports. So that has to change. Also, not having assistant coaches in those sports. Some of that has to change. So I'm just trying to do more cleaning up, helping our coaches out much as I can to address those concerns with scholarship issues, facility issues as of right now.
Well, Coach, since you're on the discussion of recruitment, there is a question in regard to what strategies will be used for recruitment of all sports. We as alumni get a lot of calls and we know about a lot of athletes. What are some of the strategies that you will do to improve the whole system of recruiting for all sports in Mother Tuskegee?
Well, for right now, Mother Tuskegee, when it comes to academic, when it comes to the brand, it's Tuskegee University. I can put Tuskegee University academically against anybody. So Tuskegee don't have an academic challenge as an institution. Tuskegee has an athletic challenge as an institution when it comes to, in terms of facility. Now student athletes, they want to have an opportunity to go somewhere where you got great facilities. So we can't go anywhere or recruit the best student athlete now because of the NIL deals that they're getting paid now. Now student athletes are going somewhere where they have an opportunity to have better facilities. It's a race on, an arm race when it comes to who has the best facility. So, we used to think about it's the academic piece. It no longer is the academic piece, but the athletic piece has to go hand in hand with the athletic piece. And until we have an opportunity to correct, or until we have an opportunity to bring our facilities up to par, it's going to be hard and it's going to be some challenging to go up against, I'm just throwing it out there, Deion Sanders at Jackson State. It'll be hard to go up against some of those other institutions when you talk about arenas, basketball arena, or when you talk about baseball and softball facility. So, in order for us to take this to a whole new level, we got to do a broad of what we call a whole athletic complex when it comes to academic, offering the whole student for us academically, athletically, and as a whole for all of our student athletes, to give them the best experience, Mr. Lee, if you want me to say it, the best experience, because if you give me the best experience for these student athletes, I know Ms. Lanier is the president, she's going to be loving it because they all are going to give back. They all are going to give back because they had a great experience. When you don't have a great experience at college, they're not going to be the ones giving back when they leave here. And that's what we want to make sure these students have an opportunity to give back.
Well, Coach, we know that you hit the ground running just a few days before Christmas, and it was a great Christmas present for us at Tuskegee. Are you getting the kind of support from the administration and the alumni since you've been on board? Talk a little bit about the things that you would like to see that you're not seeing, or things that alumni can do to help you in this new position at Tuskegee University.
Well, I'm the type that, I guess I'm a great Indian when I need to be, and I'm a great chief. So as an Indian, I make sure I do the things that Madam President Charlotte Morris, Dr. Morris, asked me to do, and giving me the task of being the athletic director of, number one, changing the state, we're changing the landscape, and making sure the major stakeholders, which are our student athletes, are the first and foremost priority of this institution. And that's my goal, is to make sure they have, like I say, the best experience. And then hitting the ground running also for our coaches, to let them know that, hey, I'm here to support, I'm here to do whatever it takes for us to be successful by giving you the resources that you need and that being supportive. I show up for every practice. It ain't a coach tell you I'm not at baseball practice, softball practice, track practice, tennis practice, basketball practice. I'm there, and they are so amazed that I guess that hasn't happened in the past, but I like what our student athlete does. They work hard, they're good students. That's why they're athletes, and I want to be there to make sure I'm supporting. But I want my mission to be in line with Dr. Morris and the Board of Trustees, to make sure we're all, like we say, one Tuskegee. I believe in one love, one family, one heartbeat, one Tuskegee. And I want us to work together. And which you, as Tuskegee National Alumni Association, that we all understand that we are one. We are one family. Together we stand, the body we fall. We are a team. And then when we start to act differently, or we start to divide the house, we're never going to get anywhere with the house divided. We're going to have to work together. And when I mean in terms of working together, I mean in terms of that it's a mutual and it's a respect, because I respect everything that you do from a job standpoint, from your duties as members of Tuskegee National Alumni Association, for your position, and respect that. And as the athletic director, I expect the same thing to be respected in my position, to do the things that it takes for me to make sure I'm doing the right things, but to have the support, and you guys have the trust in me, because all this is about transparency. It's about honesty. It's about working hard. It's about doing what's right and being humble and doing the things that it takes to move this institution, this university forward. And the only way that happens is we are working together. We have some deficiencies. We have some shortcomings, but we understand that, we know that, but we're not going to get anywhere if we keep dividing each other, or we fighting each other, and we're not working together. Because at the end of the day, in order for us to be successful as an athletic program, we got to work together. And I want us to be able to work together. So we have been on the same page. I think the message is clear from Dr. Morris, her plan, her vision, and the same for me, because at the end of the day, I can't make the big decision, because the decision are made from my boss, which is Dr. Morris, and then she has her boss, which is the Board of Trustees members. So I always try to work hand in hand, and to do the right things and carry out the assignments that need to be carried out, that we're all together and we're all on one accord.
Coach, I think that you have answered the next question that I have, at least part of it, but in that conversation, which is good. This is a topic that, growing up in Tuskegee, and I can truly say, and many alumni would agree with me, our facilities have looked the same for the last, 45 or 50 years. No major improvements, but we still have put a good product on the field, and that's to be commendable. That's to be commended. What are your plans, Coach, not only for upgrading the football facilities, Cleveland L. Albert Memorial Stadium? What is your plan for upgrading, and how can alumni help in regard to revamping our facilities?
So one of the things is, I believe, is we need to make sure from an institution standpoint that we are doing things that when we go out and get corporate dollars, or we go out and try to raise money, that we're doing the things that it takes on the inside. that we are handling our business on the inside. So if you look at how our facility look, it's going to be hard for sometimes corporate sponsors to give us what we need because we're not doing the things that it takes from the inside standpoint, from the institutional standpoint. So one of my biggest thing is now we had a great, with guarantees in football, and I believe in deferred maintenance. I believe in using the money that it takes for us to do the things it takes for resource-wise. So one of the things I want to do is the locker rooms in the basketball arena for our men's basketball team, our women's basketball team, and our volleyball team to upgrade the floor, to upgrade the locker rooms, to give those student athletes what they need from Chappie James' standpoint. And then our tennis courts are really need to be resurfaced. The wind screens, we want to do something with the wind screens to give an uplift. Then you talk about, and these are now things, then you talk about our baseball and our softball. I think when we built those the softball facility here, you know, we did not build restrooms, we did not build concession stands, we did not build a press box. And the same thing with we having Coach Hollis done a great job with baseball to get it moved from Montgomery, Alabama, and get it moved here back to Tuskegee. That was a tremendous job that he did along with the Alumni Association members that helped that. But for him to have fans at a baseball game, no bleachers, no restrooms, no seating, and no press box, you know, that's something that can't happen. And that's something we got to do now. And then when we talk about now, and then we talk about our student athletes when it comes to football. You walk down that hill, this is the best bowl, Cleveland Morris Stadium. This is the best bowl when it comes in terms of atmosphere for a game. But when we bring recruits on this campus, the first thing they say is, I can't come there for looking at that, coach. And it's tough to recruit because the first thing they want to see is the facility. And then the next thing is, you know, Mr. Lee, is when you have what's in that facility that's need to be taken away, our student athletes does not need to be in those type of facilities. It's just an embarrassment, you know, just to be in there and let our student athletes be in there. And also when teams come from the Ohio's and Kentucky's and Lane College, you know, and they play here, they can't take showers. They got to go way back up that road. And that's a reflection on us and not a reflection on them. That's a reflection on us. That's a reflection on our institution. And I don't want another band situation where I have the locker room locked. Those student athletes, when they work out, they going back to their rooms, showering, dressing. I don't want them in that locker room because the first thing I don't want to see is everybody taking a phone and taking pictures, and it gets out and it, don't do well for the institution. So we got to do something. What it says now, what's important now is we got to get those trailers out of there. We got a restroom, concession stand. We got to be able to make money. We're losing money. We're losing revenue, not having a concession stand, not having the things at these softball when everybody want to be here supporting. We have great fan base. We've been the number one ranked when it comes to attendance in the nation year after year. Our fans come. So we got to generate some form of revenue, but we got to clean it up. We got to clean it up. I may not be everybody's choice or everybody, but one thing about it, I love these student athletes. They deserve the best. I don't care if in terms of how we do it, they deserve the opportunity to get the best. This is Tuskegee University. I say it all the time. It's the standard. And our standard should be a gold standard. And if we're not trying to be a gold standard, we're in the wrong place. And that's what I want to see happen around here. I want to see us stop the division and start to come together as one.
Coach, you have done a fantastic job. You are making my job a lot easier by answering a lot of these questions in your commentary. One of the biggest questions right now is what you just mentioned, facilities. I've had the opportunity to work in those facilities during the game and also two of those facilities recently. What can we do? What will be done to improve the deplorable conditions that student athletes experience at Tuskegee? What can we do now to improve that? You know, we're just a few weeks away from spring practice, And we're just a few months away from a brand new athletics season in football. Baseball is around the corner, track and field, tennis, volleyball, and softball. What can we do now to take the necessary steps to support you in improving the deplorable conditions that we are experiencing in some of our facilities?
I think the biggest thing is to make sure, as the Alumni Association, that you continue to give, but to also, when you're giving, to make sure that we're doing good by your givings. When alumni give money, or you give, that we're doing right by the money that we receive. When our alumni see the upgrades of the facilities, they see what's going on, they see it. I just want to make sure when you guys are giving, and whatever been the issues of the past, I just ask for, I say a clean slate. Give me an opportunity to kind of start to put things in the right perspective by our giving, but also your support. Your support is when you can reach out to the CFO, reach out to the president, to give them something that, hey, what can we do together as an organization where we come together, that we do something for the locker rooms, the concession stands, the restrooms. It's no way that I want the president sitting in that press box, or you, Mr. Lee, you guys sitting in that press box, visiting teams or whatever, and you fall through, and we have top rated officials from other institutions in that same situations, being in that facility. That's not good. That's not good. That don't look good for us. And then, like I say, it's a standard. So what I'm asking everyone to do is support. What I have done is ask the CFO and the president what's important now. What's important now is, we're not going to build a facility this year. Let's just get that, and everybody be on the same page. It's not going to happen this year because we only, 8 months from kicking off and playing football real soon. So this is not going to happen. But what we need to do is to make sure our student athletes not coming back to fall camp in the same conditions of those trailers down there, and making sure our visiting opponents not coming into those same trailers down there when it comes to showering, it comes to dressing, and making sure visiting distinguished guests of the president, or I'll call it sponsors. When you have potential donors, you don't want to bring them in something like that, because they may say, I don't want to come in there or give something to an institution that's, that you got us in, facilities like this. So we got to make sure we're controlling the narrative. I always say control the narrative, and we can control that. So, Mr. Lee, to put all this in perspective, that we be one. I have met with some architects. I have met with people, what can possibly be done now for our student athletes, and to give us, when it comes to turf field, we have a rain problem here. It rains here all the time. And our baseball and softball team, the last few days it rained. They did practice. They came inside Logan and practiced, and had to divide up practice time. And, when it rains here, it kind of shuts them down for 2 or 3 days. And I thought about, I know we're an agriculture institution, but I thought about turf. When you do turf, you can practice on the rain through the snow, and it gives us a time to not miss practice time, because we need to practice to be successful out on the field when it comes to games.
Well, Coach, there's a question here, and I'm just going to forego it. Someone asked a question about when there are going to be night games, but I think we need to take care of our facilities so we can have good day games first. But that's something that we can look at in the future in regard to nighttime football games at Tuskegee. If you want to address it briefly, you can. But I think that the biggest thing that we need to do is get our daytime facilities in order, and then we can include that in the master plan as far as night games. But
we want to have that. Yeah, we want to have that. Just briefly, we want to have lights, but having lights and not addressing the problem of not having facilities is kind of impede. We need to make sure we're doing the things it takes, but to give our student athletes and our alum and our fans an opportunity to see something that's better than what they see, what they're seeing now. And lights, I think that should be on the back burner until we can get facilities in check and in control of what we're doing or what we're trying to do for as an institution.
You know, athletic development is very important. Raising money, the athletic director has that responsibility, and we have the same responsibility of reciprocating. What are your plans? I know that you have an announcement that you made today to me, and you'll talk about it later on, or sponsors. But what are some of the plans of bringing in advertisers and donors and different corporate partners to help support the initiative of improving athletics at Tuskegee University?
Well, I think fundraising is the greatest thing you can always do or ever do is fundraise. I think once people get a chance to see, I know you said one of the things you wanted me to kind of hold on. So we have FedEx Freight. I'm one of the first potential with FedEx Freight. I bought FedEx Freight to our last institution for our student athletes to give them an opportunity to come in a boardroom style for internships, learn about the business, give our student athletes an opportunity to do internships. And FedEx gave $250,000 to that institution. Now they have upped it. They actually flew out 8 presidents that was a part of that same, I guess, program. And they went to New York to ring the bell at Stock Exchange, flew on a private jet with the owner of FedEx. And so I didn't want Tuskegee to miss that same opportunity. And so I reached out to FedEx. Now our student athletes on Thursday of this week will be doing the same thing, internship, getting an opportunity called the FedEx boardroom. And so that's fundraising. So I had that relationship with FedEx at the last institution that came on here. Also have that relationship with TNT Fireworks. If you know TNT Fireworks, you heard of Books A Million. That's the same apparel company, Books A Million. So Books A Million has joined on to be a proud sponsor of Tuskegee Athletics because of that fundraising, that opportunity that we had. Connecticut Sausage. You know, we all love Connecticut Sausage. So Connecticut Sausage has also wanted to become partnership with Tuskegee Athletics because of Auburn and athletic. My relationship with Auburn athletic director got me in close with the Connecticut Sausage people. And so just fundraising. So in order for that, I just want people to come in here and experience. They know a lot about Tuskegee. Tuskegee is a national brand. It's a name. And I want people to come on campus. That's what I did with FedEx. I asked them to come see campus. They were coming through. They stopped through and they saw this beautiful campus. They saw what we had to offer. They joined. They joined. So that's the same thing with everybody. Everybody's got to see when they come on campus. They need to see our tennis courts are better. They need to see our facilities are better, because when they see that, they believe that we are actually doing something to help ourselves. Everybody wants you to learn that I want to help you, but I need to see you helping yourself first. And when we don't help ourselves, it's hard to bring in those revenue dollars. But when we're helping ourselves, the people actually see what we're doing and what's the vision. And the vision is for us to be one Tuskegee, a vision for us to be together. The vision is for us not to be divided. And so we're not divided. And so when we're out fundraising, when I'm out fundraising or friend raising, they see that this is Tuskegee. And they know that their dollars are going to be well spent. They're going to be spent on education, going to be spent on these students. They're going to be spent on just great experience for our alumni, for our students, for our university. And that's what my goal is.
Well, Coach, you know, the word is out. Tell us a little bit about that sponsorship in regard to getting Tuskegee sports directly to the fans. And I want to say directly to the fans without any technical problems, without any. We want to get the Tuskegee athletic program doing the actual games to the people. Tell us a little bit about what happened today and what you did in regard to making sure that Golden Tiger fans, not only in South Central Alabama, but throughout these United States, would be able to listen in to Golden Tiger athletics.
Well, we have struck a deal with WOTM. That's on Direct TV channel 19. That's going to broadcast our football games. It's going to be the Golden Tiger Sports Network. We're going to broadcast all of our, televise all our football games, home and away. We also have the Tuskegee Digital Sports that does the radio that Mr. Lee and Mr. Wood have always been a part of. So we want to make sure that we tie into that. And also our baseball games, softball games, volleyball games, our men and women basketball game. They're going to televise our home games for our men and women. I know one of the questions was talking about live streaming. So we still will be capable of live streaming, but we also be capable of having an opportunity to play on television. And the WOTM is, if you ever saw the Alabama High School State Championship or the University of Alabama recap games, that station is the one that carries those games here in the state. So we're blessed to have that, along with those corporate sponsors coming in and just doing things that it takes for us to take this program to the next level. The do what's right, not have those technical difficulties and all of that.
Coach, I'm looking forward to sitting down with you weekly on a coach's show too, because that is very important to let our fans know each week what's happening in football as well as other sports.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
the next question I think may be a confusing one, and I think I'll rephrase it. The question was, did the athletic director have sufficient time to recruit for the 2022 season? But I think that was maybe for the coach, not the athletic director.
Well, you said Madam President, Ms. Lanier, and y'all know I hit the ground running. I had to go to the American Football Coaches Association meeting in San Antonio for a week after being hired here, and then come back and do all the weekends with the recruiting weekends, or go and house visit or home visit prospective student athletes. So I did the home visit. Then I had to fly out to Indianapolis to the AD's conference for a week, and then fly back and make all the meetings for our recruiting weekend. So I never missed a recruiting weekend. I never missed a home visit. Now I was a wore-out duckling going to San Antonio for a week and going to Indianapolis for a week, and being able to hit all those houses or homes of prospective student athlete. And we got the guys that wanted to be here, the student athletes that wanted to be here, we got those. And the ones that didn't want to be here, we didn't get those. So we're blessed to have a great recruit class. I'm blessed to have the guys that really did a great job, and recruiting coordinator Kevin Powell, Lawrence Samuel, and Fred Ellis. Those were the three guys that was kind of held over from the previous staff. And then we was 4 horsemen. We call ourselves the 4 horsemen. And we worked our tails off because we was trying to get the other guys hired and ready to go. And finally got those guys all situated and ready to go now. So.
Well, I may add a very impressive recruiting class. I think around 28 new athletes will be coming to Tuskegee. We look forward to that in regard to all. Next question is, what are your biggest needs as far as staffing, as far as across all sports? What are some of the immediate needs that alumni can help in regard to maybe providing funding or contributions in these programs that we can do individually?
One of the biggest things is scholarships. I want to see more funding with scholarships for our non-revenue sports. We got to do a better job on that. So we're gonna have to raise funds to get the scholarship for our non-revenue sports. And also I want to see a budget for our grad assistants, graduate assistants. We don't have a lot of that. A lot of those, I'd have that program here, grad assistant program, to be able to train up some potential coaches and bring them into the field of coaching here at Tuskegee. We don't have grad assistant program. That can be a great job. When we don't have the assistant coaches, we can actually have grad assistant coaches that can make up the difference in some of our other sports that don't have the assistant coaches. And then you want to take a look at our transportation needs for our student athletes. Of course, we are with Dr. James Andrews, Andrews Sports Medicine Clinic. So our kids have to go to rehab, maybe in Auburn or here in Tuskegee, if they are fortunate to get here in Tuskegee. And the surgeries are always done in Birmingham or in Montgomery. So the transportation is kind of tough for our student athletes. And so we want to have something in place where we can generate some transportation for our student athlete. What hurts me is when a parent calls and say, when can I get my student back? Or how can I get my child to the doctor? Or how can I get transportation for my child? and, oh, or my child was driving, he drove to the doctor, we had surgery, now you got to drive back. That's something we can't be doing, or something we can't do here.
Coach, you know, we talk about supporting our athletic program. We know that it takes money to go out and recruit. It takes money to go out and do these visits. Transportation is essential. Are there any plans to involve the private sector in providing those kinds of essentials like you need, vehicles, transportation in regard? We know that a lot of the majority colleges have contracts with General Motors and Hyundai and Mercedes and Ford. Are we going to be involved in approaching some of these major sponsors and asking that we can have some of the same types of agreements at our program as they do in a lot of these major schools to help you and your staff get from place to place in a very professional look, in a professional manner?
Yeah, you know, one of the things that Coach Powell, the recruiting coordinator, he did all the traveling in his car. Or if I met him, or we talked, or had to go see a student, prospective student athlete, I drove my truck, you know, and Coach Samuel, Coach Ellis, they drove their vehicles to go visit prospects, because, you know, we don't have a motor pool here like most state institutions. And then we really spending a lot of money when it comes to off campus, because, you know, as you all know, the Kellogg Conference Center was down. So we wasn't made available to be here on campus for housing our prospective student athlete. We actually had to drive to Auburn and back here and back to Auburn. So the transportation was a little different. It cost a little bit more than it has in the past because of not having the Kellogg Conference Center open. And then, you know, when you talk about going out with the private sector, we're trying to reach out to the local car dealership to see, can we give our head coaches the opportunity to have a demo or a dealer car and have a sponsorship agreement with the local dealerships here in the Auburn, Tallahassee, or the Montgomery area, to give our head coaches the opportunity where we can go out and we can travel, and also to strike up a deal with any rental company or rental car company to make sure we have an opportunity to give us the best deal for weekly rates when we have to use our rental cars to go out. So we have some things that we have in place, but we have been in conversation with some of the dealerships, and we have gotten some feedback that some of the dealerships really want to have discussion, and some of the dealerships say they have already worked out with various institutions already, and they would revisit, you know, maybe at the first part of July, of August of this year.
Well, if there are any alumni out there that have special relationships with any automobile dealerships, or have any contact with some of these major dealers, feel free to let Coach know, and maybe you can help him get one of those deals that a lot of the majority colleges get. Coach, your 5-year goals, you know, you've been here since December. Where do you see yourself and your staff and all of your coaches and the total athletic program at Tuskegee in 5 years from today?
Number one, that we will be self-efficient as an athletic department or athletic program, that we will be running, that we won't need any funding from the institution, because we actually want to make sure we're doing the things that it takes as a foundation, athletic foundation, as a 5-year goal. Also have an opportunity to make sure we are fully funded. You know, anytime I get the question of what's our goal of being Division I or going to the next level, in order to go to the next level, we got to be first fully funded. So my next goal is to make sure we are fully funded, giving us an opportunity to compete for championships year in, year out, and also having the same, I guess, vision, strategic plan that we have already in place as an institution for our compared salaries, that we're not losing coaches. We're doing the things that it takes for us to be successful. And I'm sorry, the light keeps going off because, you know, the Tuskegee, I think, is generated off of the motion sensor, so kind of goes in and out. But to make sure that we're self-efficient as an athletic department, and giving our coaches an opportunity to have the resources when it comes to terms of scholarship, when it comes of salaries, when in terms of assistant coaches, and just be fully funded as an athletic program. And then we have an opportunity to move to that next step, whether have an opportunity, because we are a brand. when you talk about who wants to see Tuskegee, it's all schools. Jackson State just offered us $200,000 to come play in a football game. Of course, we can't play because that's in the mid of our season, the same time they wanted to play. There are so many teams that want to play in the Classic. So we are a household name. Everybody wants Tuskegee on their schedule. So if we're a household name, we're a brand. So we give ourselves a chance that when we're ready to move to that next level, whether it's FCS or the SWAC or the MEAC or whatever division that we have an opportunity to go, that we are already at our base, and what we call our foundation is already solid. Right now, our foundation is not solid because we're not fully funded. We don't have the assistant coaches pool. We're not paying the top rated salary for our coaches. So we want to make sure we are doing that and elevating that in our next few years to get to where we need to be, and our facilities, that our facilities are top notch, that our facility, that we have no worries, no anything, we are good to go. And so that's what we want with our 5-year plan.
Okay, you mentioned scheduling, and that's a very good question. A lot of people want to know when homecoming will be. Will we have a football schedule out in a reasonable time this year? It was out late last year. What kind of opponents will we have this year? It's going to be an exciting year. This is our first year back, second year back after COVID. How are you planning now for the upcoming football season as we look forward to it in a few months?
Well, we got an opportunity in Indianapolis to come up and to have the schedule for our conference games complete. What they did was they left the week 1, 2, and 3 open for non-conference opponent, but put everything in for our conference games. And so we did that as an athletic directors group in Indianapolis a few weeks ago. So we do have that schedule involved. So we also have the 2 teams that we're supposed to be playing. We do have the team for the Airman Classic, the Tuskegee Airman Classic. We have the team for that. And then we have the 2 teams that potential guarantees that we'll play week 2 and week 3. And of course, play those 7 conference games that's mandatory, along with possibility with Alabama State. Now, to be honest with you about the Alabama State game, as you all know, Alabama State was only a 1-year deal last year, and neither party signs. It's a new AD at Alabama State, and I'm the new AD here. So neither former ADs actually did a contract for that Alabama State game. And so Alabama State was left with a situation where they had too many games and they had to file an appeal to the NCAA. We have not heard back on that appeal. So there's a possibility if they don't get that waiver or appeal for that 12th game, then we may not be playing the Alabama State game because of neither contract was signed. It was only a 1-year deal.
When will you know about that game and the waiver? Is there a time factor on it? And will we see any new opponents this year? Will we be in any new classics? Do you have any idea at this point? Are you in a position to talk?
I'm in a position to tell you the Airman Classic will still be Fort Valley State, the first game. Allen University came on the schedule. I think all the other teams you played all last year with the contours of the divisional games, which is Lane College, Kentucky State, Central State, and Miles College, or those games that's what we call divisional games. And then also Clark Atlanta and Allen University or the games that's I think you played Clark last year, if I'm not mistaken. So last year. So I think those are the games. And then we possibly having an opportunity to play 2 FCS opponents that I'm not liberty to say until those contracts are seen by our general counsel and approved by the general counsel and the president and myself. And then hopefully that last game with Alabama State, if it comes to pass. And we should hear something back with it this week or possibly next week. We had to also submit a letter on behalf of Alabama State. Dr. Marsh, the general counsel, myself, has already done that on behalf of Alabama State. So we also generated that letter to the NCAA on behalf of Alabama State to get that waiver for the possibility of that game on Thanksgiving Day. Homecoming, of course, last year you played in Birmingham against Morehouse on, I want to say the 8th of October. And then you had 3 consecutive home games in late October. Mr. Lee, just know that flipped. So this year we played Morehouse in Birmingham that weekend. And then we on the road 3 consecutive weekends because you flipped the schedule from last year, which you had 3 consecutive home games. And this year you have 3 consecutive road games. So last home game will be November the 5th against Miles College. And that will be homecoming because we had October the 1st, and that was too early for homecoming. And we had the Morehouse game in Birmingham, and then we had 3 consecutive road games. And so our last home game is November the 5th against Miles College. And so we designated that to be homecoming 2022.
That's going to be really interesting, Coach. That's going to be an interesting game. Looking forward to it. Tell us a little bit about the coaching, your coaching staff. You mentioned that you did retain some coaches. Tell us a little bit about the new, you have a new strength coach, and you're going to bring a new strength program that will not only cover football, but cover all sports.
Yes,
Talk about the personnel that you brought in and the personnel that you've retained.
Yeah, so one of the things we needed to make sure we actually start with a strength and conditioning program and have a certified strength and conditioning coach. We have Andrew Williams, who was assistant strength coach at Auburn University. He's well known, Auburn University, Western Kentucky, and he was just at the University of Memphis when we got him. They finished up the bowl game, and we was actually looking for a strength and conditioning start. That's one of the things I asked to start a strength and conditioning program where he can hire assistant strength and conditioning coaches, whether that's male or female, in order to train all of our student athletes, women's basketball, men's basketball, softball, baseball, and we get their expertise in those certified strength and conditioning coach. So we were able to hire Andrew Williams as our strength and conditioning coach, and also a female that's been with the women's basketball team, that's been with the track team, that's been with our women's, all of our women's sports. So they have done a great job of just training our student athletes. It's a lot different for a lot of our student athletes because we hadn't had that in the past, but they'll have that opportunity to hire a certified, well-known strength and conditioning coach. It's been amazing. Like I say, he's been in Western Kentucky, Texas State, Auburn, Memphis. So he's been all over, having the opportunity to do a great job for those strength and conditioning program and winning championships there and come here. And our student athlete has really bought in to our strength and conditioning program to be state of the art. And I definitely appreciate what he's done so far for our students this off season. Also, as you know, when Dr. Morris hired me as the athletic director, as well as the head football coach, being the head football coach would not be a double duty. I know that's one of the concerns that many alumni had, that will I be one take this bull by the horn, have an opportunity to do both jobs. And I will say I've done both jobs in the past, and I've done very effectively doing both. And the reason why I say very effectively doing both, not only was I winning from a coach standpoint, but we also won the academic cup twice, and we also won the commission cup for the best athletic program twice. So I did that as AD also. So I've done the job both as well as winning championships from the coach standpoint, and as well as winning from the AD standpoint. And that's neither here or there, but the opportunity presents itself for her to hire me and bring me in and to do both. And that wasn't the decision for her to continue, for me to do both. And what I wanted to do was make sure that I don't have a coach and set him up for failure. Right now, a coach will come in here, or I came in here and possibly been set up for failure because nothing was in place. The facilities, the recruitment, it was just all bad. And I wanted to train a coach and have somebody in here that's Tuskegee bred and have an opportunity to come in here, and because he knows the history, he knows the legacy of Tuskegee. And so with that being said, Aaron James is coming here as the offensive coordinator and head coach in waiting. And he will take over as head football coach. He will be trained, learning the process of scholarships, learning the process of day-to-day operation, because we didn't want him to be set up to fail. He knows that he wasn't ready to take this because there's some things that he's not accustomed to, doesn't know right now with the head coach. But Aaron James will be our head coach. starting December 1st of 2022. We worked together. We won a lot of championships at our last and previous institution. He went off and had an opportunity to be an offensive coordinator at an FCS school. And now he's coming back to his alma mater, and we're very excited. I'm very happy for Aaron James. Also have an opportunity to bring a state championship coach. He won 2 state championships, and he was with me at my previous institution as our quarterback coach, but he will be coming coaching the receivers because Coach James will be the offensive coordinator and the quarterbacks coach, as well as Tommy Lewis, a defensive line coach, also coming from previous institution, and Coach Richard Watson as our defensive coordinator. Richard Watson was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He just finished up with the East-West Shrine game, having that opportunity. He's done a lot of internships and also having an opportunity for some job interview for the Pittsburgh Steelers job this past summer after working there for his internship. But he'll be our defensive coordinator coming in. And then we just kept over our staff. Kevin Powell will be our assistant head coach. He's done a great job, and he was one of the holdovers from the previous staff. He's a Tuskegee guy. Fred Ellis, offensive line coach, he's a Tuskegee guy. And Lawrence Samuel is our tight end coach, H-back coach, and he's done a great job by being here. And then we have another coach and Coach Thompson. Hopefully get him finalized and ready to go. And so we're excited about this staff. We put together a great mixture of guys that been a part of this program, got history here. And I wanted to make sure I kind of connected the dots with Tuskegee guys that loves Tuskegee, knows the history about Tuskegee, know what it means to walk up and down these hills and know what it means about developing young men. So I want an opportunity to do that for this institution. I'm born and bred. When I say born and bred, I was here as a defensive coordinator, assistant head coach for many years. Many championships were won. And I just think about the opportunity that when you're Tuskegee bred and you bleed that crimson and gold, and let me tell you something, that means a lot. It means a lot for these student athletes. When I say it's the standard, that's a bold statement, because you got to walk with pride. You got to walk that knowing you coming here to the institution to get the best education, because my motto, we educate, we dominate, we graduate, and that's going to stand firm, because it's a standard to be here. It's a standard. You expect it to be great. You expect it to be great in the classroom. You expect it to be great on the courts in the field. So you're expected to do great things when you come here. And so with all that being said, man, I'm excited about the staff, excited about the strength coaches. I'm excited about our basketball coaches, men and women. I'm excited about our baseball coaches, our volleyball coaches. I'm excited about this program. I'm excited about athletics. That means the world to me. So I don't want none of y'all to get life twisted. This is what I enjoy. I enjoy doing, seeing the lives and changing lives of young men and women on a daily basis, and seeing them nurture and grow from here and being productive and successful people when they leave here, because they're going to have the best experience. They know I'm going to fight for them to the end. The coaches know I'm going to fight for them to the end. And the president know I'm here for her. I'm here for a reason. I'm here to turn this institution upside down when it comes to us being successful. We have been on top of the world, and we're going to get back up there. We're going to get back up there together. We're going to get back up there together. We're going to get back up there as a family, and we're going to get back up there as a team.
Well, Coach, I tell you, if I could play football after that speech, I think I would go ahead and strap up and play for you.
Appreciate that, Mr. Lee.
That's a serious statement, because we can see that we can hear the passionate Tuskegee in your voice, and that is very important to lead by example. And we're clear in the air now, because there's been a lot of discussion about your master plan and the head coaching situation and the athletic director's job. And we can understand how bringing someone in and knowing the circumstance, you did not want to bring a coach in and subject a coach to the adversities and the challenges that may hamper the success of the program. And everybody is so excited to hear that, and they're so excited to work with you. What is the number one concern? Alumni are begging, they're asking, what is the number one concern that you would have that we as alumni can do immediately to help the success of the athletic programs at Tuskegee. And I said programs.
Programs, yep. One of the things that from my assessment early on with our student athletes is that they didn't think the institution or people cared. And that's one of the things I really had to change and to really nurture and talk to these student athletes that Tuskegee alumni do care about you. The university do care about you. They didn't feel like, anybody cared. And when I asked that question, why would they say that? They say, look at the state that we've been in over the years and how, the football team in our meeting say, Coach, you at your last institution, we played, you guys came in the locker room and seen the locker room and seen the field like that. Why can't we have that here at Tuskegee? Or the women's basketball team, when they came and they said, Coach, I saw what you did to the women's locker room at the last institution. Why we can't have that here? And that's one of the things I pride myself in. It ain't about just football. And I just want that to get to everybody. Yeah, I'm a football coach, but I am a person that cares about individuals. I care about the whole entire athletic program. No one is going to get more. When my last institution, you see the coach's office of football, the locker room at the football field were the last items to get done at that institution. I care more about getting the locker rooms fixed for the volleyball teams, for the women's basketball team, cared more about the softball team. I care more about getting things right for those sports that didn't have, or I don't want shoes. When they gave us shoe allotment, I didn't want the shoes. I wanted the shoes to go to the sports that didn't have the great budgets. I tried to make sure the coaches, the gender equity, when it came to coaches, the salary of females to male, to make sure we brought them up evenly. When I got hired here, the first thing I did with the women's basketball coach and the men's basketball coach, I said, the salaries are off. They tilted. It's bad. Get it right. And they got it right. So our women's basketball team and women's basketball coach, men's basketball coach, they equal, they're compared, they're compatible. And I wanted to make sure we're doing the things right. So I'm asking alumni this: give me an opportunity to do my job. Give me an opportunity to get this thing right, get it going in the right direction. We already know Coach James is going to be the next head football coach, and I can concentrate on the whole athletic program. But what I can't do is have people running this institution, especially athletics, when number one is wrong, because when it comes to NCAA bylaws, you can't run the athletic program. We're going to be able to talk. If there's a problem, let's talk about it. We ain't got to put all our business out in the street. Let's talk about it as a family. Let's talk about it to get on one accord. Because we can go behind closed doors and have all the disagreements and we want. But when we walk out of this door, we walk out of this room, we're all on the same page. We respect each other, and we do the things that it takes for us to be successful. And I'm all about that. And then I don't want us getting in trouble, NCAA. There would not be a lack of institutional control because we are doing things from an alumni standpoint that's not right. Let me be the athletic director. Let me be the chief officer when it comes to athletic. And then let you do what you do as alumni or as alums to make sure we are getting the money, getting the funding, getting the sources, supporting, and really gravitating to our student athletes and to our coaches to let us know we all on one accord. That's all I ask.
Coach, a lot of people are asking about conference as far as moving up. And I think, it's pretty evident that we have improvements to make where we are in our division before we advance to another conference. But is there a long-term goal for elevating Tuskegee in another conference? Is that something that you have even considered? I can just about imagine you've had a problems already trying to deal with the one that you're in. What are the goals as far as where you would want to be in regard to conference play? And then there was another mention about involving golf in the athletic program. Talk a little bit about that, please.
So one of the things that it takes for you to move to the next division is in terms of you have to be fully funded. So in order for us to even think about going to Division I or FCS, the SWAC or the MEAC, we have to be fully funded. There are some interest from those organizations, the SWAC and the MEAC of Tuskegee. Tuskegee name, Tuskegee brand, Tuskegee history, Tuskegee legacy, the important people, a graduate of Tuskegee. So they know Tuskegee, and then in terms of attendance, they know Tuskegee is a sale, it's a draw. We want Tuskegee. So when that happens, you got to line yourself up with, number one, are we fully funded? We want to be fully funded. Number two is, do we have enough to do the things it takes to add sports? Yes. One of the things I want to do is add indoor and outdoor indoor track. Okay. So indoor track gives us 12 sports. You have to have 14 sports in order to be a Division I or have an opportunity to go to Division I and be fully funded. So you want to have 14 sports. So we add indoor track, which is Birmingham is the best indoor track program in the whole world. That's where everybody go to. And that travel would not be hard on our student athletes. And we still have the same student athletes running track, outdoor track, running indoor track, and then they come back and run outdoor track. Then we want to talk about golf, men and women golf. Add men and women golf, that's our 14 sports. At Miles College, I had the golf team. I added the golf team as athletic director there. And so when we added the golf team, I don't think we spend for our men's golf team over $17,000 when it comes to in terms of travel. And then we paying a coach that was part-time, about $20,000 part-time to coach the golf team. So it wasn't a sport that really that cost a lot, but it gets us, Mr. Lee, an opportunity to add the sports that Division I's want you to add in order to be Division I. But the first thing we need to do is be fully funded. And that should have been our goal always, is to be fully funded, because how can you win? How can you compete and be successful if you're not being fully funded? We ain't gonna be successful in the SIC. So in order to be successful in the SIC, we need to be fully funded and dominate the SIC. You know, you can't not dominate and then move up. You know, you need to be able to dominate.
You have to crawl before you walk, and that's what we are. At this time, we want to just pause for a minute and ask our president to recognize we have some members of the esteemed Board of Trustees on the phone, trustees at Tuskegee University, and I've been asked to pause and just recognize them at this time. And that's a positive step to have those persons who are responsible for making sure that we get the facilities, making sure that we fund programs and athletics and academics. So at this time, I would like to recognize President Lanier as she will address and recognize the Board of Trustee members that have taken time out of their busy schedule to join us on the call. President Lanier.
Great. Thank you so very much. First of all, I do know that Tim Branner is on the call, and he did put a comment in the chat. So Tim Branner is the alumni trustee. I'm not sure of who else, if any other, I don't know if Doug Chambers or any other trustees are on, but I want to also acknowledge our esteemed TNAA executive board members who are on the call this evening. They are on to support. There were some questions that came into the chat about different sports. As you were talking about, different ones. I'm glad to hear you say about golf. I learned to play golf at Tuskegee University. I shared that with you during our first conversation. I learned the game of golf at Tuskegee. And I believe Carla Whitlock is another one of our members of the Board of Trustees is on this call as well. Thank you so very much. Did I miss anybody else who's on the call?
You have Timothy Brainer.
Yeah, I got him. I got Timothy Brainer and Carla Whitlock. Are there any other members on the Board of Trustees? Okay, and I see where someone, and I will just say this, Wilfred. I had this conversation with Coach Ruffin. I told him golf and swimming. We had a phenomenal swim team when I was there at Tuskegee, and I believe golf probably originated, and we had a phenomenal golf team as well. As I said, I learned to play golf there. So anyway, we are very, very happy that you're here. And I think everyone is excited to hear your passion. And as all of us are on this call, we are extremely passionate about alma mater. And I did share with Coach Ruffin, we went to all of these classics. We were going to these classics all over the country. Maybe we can get that back again also, because we thoroughly enjoyed going. So if there's anything else, then what I'm going to do, Frank, I'm going to turn it back over to you because I know there are other questions and we want to continue to hear from you, Coach Ruffin.
Well, you know, Coach, thank you very much, President Lanier, and it's always good to have our trustees on the line. Tuskegee University trustees play a very integral role in making sure that all programs and sports and academics are up to speed. And we just want to thank them for being a part of this Zoom call tonight. Coach Ruffin, alumni are waiting. They're willing to help. They want to help. And one of the burning questions tonight has been, again, is what can we do immediately? What can we know? We can take the checkbooks out and write checks to Tuskegee in regard to supporting and allocating funds for athletics, but what are some of the primary things that you would want alumni to do immediately to help you overcome some of the challenges that you are immediately facing at Tuskegee at this point?
Well, you know, number one is, let me say this to Mr. Special President Lanier. I have had nothing but total support from our alumni. You know, the calls, the thank yous, keep the encouragement, the words of encouragement. Let me tell you something. When I first got here, I parked that truck in at Cleve Avenue. I thought about taking it back and going back the other way because it was like, I was like, what did I get myself into? But this is about legacy, man. This right here is, I'm asking Tuskegee alums to really, really focus on and concentrate on us being one. When I say, I really mean that. You know, we're not going to get anywhere being divided. And I'm saying that to you from the bottom of my heart. I can only tell you something from my heart. So if we can't be together and everybody see us all out of whack and all disarray, you know, they're gonna know we ain't together. And the Tuskegee people stick together. Mr. Lanier said something that rings a bell to me. I remember the day sitting in that office with Dr. Payton and Coach Slater, and we getting ready to play Texas Southern. We getting ready to play Alabama A&M. We getting ready to play Alabama State. We playing Arkansas Pine Bluff. We in the Gateway Classes in St. Louis. We in the Indianapolis Classic. You know, we playing all these Division I schools. And I'm sitting there, how can we play all these Division I schools? Man, I started to say, we Tuskegee. I don't care about who we play. I don't care about who we playing. We Tuskegee. And the travel and the games and the fans and the attendance, man, that's what I love. The Drayton Florence and the Frank Walkers, when I coached those guys, the Roosevelt Williams, and that's what I love. You know, and that was a passion for those guys. And they didn't care about what things look, how it look. Different generation now. But I want the alumni to know they need to get on board and they need to support. Don't talk it, walk it. Don't sing it, bring it. Let's do it. We only gonna do it. You know, don't cry, try. You know, and let's do it. And I always say we together. Like just bring your pocketbooks. It's gonna be cleaning days. Mr. Lee, we're gonna have some cleaning days, we're gonna have cleanup days, we're gonna have paint days. We gotta be the one to show that we're gonna make a difference. And we're gonna make a difference together. And our student athletes see that. When they see us on one accord, they're gonna know it's that. And I don't stop you from talking to any coach, whatever relationship y'all have, or with the coaches. I just ask you to make sure we're doing it in a professional manner of how we do things. Just be professional, how we do things. Because at the end of the day, we all have to work together, and every coach got a boss, every coach, you know, we got to be on one accord. We got to be on the same page, because I'm going off the fine tune of the president. The way she rock, I rock. Way the board of trustees rock, I rock. And so we got to be on this thing together. But something has to be done from an alumni group that we got to change the narrative on these facilities. We got to do it now. We can't wait. We don't wait it too long. So when alumni, y'all want to come in my office, that tennis court is terrible out there. The windscreens, terrible. The gates need painting. Downstairs or down the hill going down there, the shed, we need to paint it. We need to blast it. We need to do something. That's our student. That section is always packed. The press box, there's no way. You wouldn't bring your boyfriend, your husband, or whatever you love, your date, to nothing that's ragged and bad, or you wouldn't do that. So why should our kids, our student athletes, be subject to what that looked like? And I want to put a fist, Mr. Lee, put a fist, close it off. Don't want nobody to see it down there until we get it fixed. Because we got to get that fixed. And then our basketball, that's the best arena in the country. That's the best arena in the division too. But we ain't doing the deferred maintenance. We ain't paying to keep it up. Thank you, alumni, for breaking the floors, and thank you for all that. But you go downstairs. I know, Mr. Lee, you say about the pool. We got to get the pool working in order for us to have a swim team. We got to go to work with the pool. But we got to do some things that it takes for us and quit taking the backseat approach. We're leaders. When you lead, you lead. You don't follow, you lead. Be a leader. We got to be leaders. So if we want to talk a good game, we got to lead. We got to lead. Kids, student athletes got to see that. Because I'm going to lead. Now, I may get shot down, but I'm going to lead. Because at the end of the day, we got to do right by these student athletes. Point blank, period. We got to do right by these student athletes. And we got to do right by each other. We got to do right by each other. And we got to respect each other. That's the number one, respect each other. I respect you, you respect me. We respect each other. Respect the president, respect the board, just respect.
Coach, we have another 30 minutes to go. I understand that we're going to take a break and hear some Tuskegee ball and parlay. And we're going to also allow when we come back from the break, questions from the audience. I've been told to just relinquish that. And we're going to take a quick break, Coach, and we'll be back with Coach Reginald Ruffin, newly appointed athletic director at Tuskegee University. Back in a moment.
We need the sound. Where's the sound, Monica?
You don't feel like just a number. It's a more personal.
All right, Frank, we will turn it back over to you now. We can get started with our second portion where we'll take questions from the chat. I'll turn it back over to you now, Frank.
Okay, well, we have some questions in the chat. As we go to those questions in the chat, Coach Ruffin, there are many Tuskegee alumni that are on the phone tonight, architects, engineers, and et cetera, construction people. And those Tuskegee graduates are more than willing to help you in your plight, in your challenges as regard to designing buildings and upgrading facilities. And we just wanted to just reemphasize that I've gotten several text messages during the course of this Zoom call that Tuskegee people in those professional areas are there to help and to provide their services to help you in making those transitions and improving facilities.
I definitely, we can take all the help we need. We need all the help we can get, especially from being the rate when it comes to African-American in terms of architect and engineer, African-American engineers and architects in the US is graduates of Tuskegee. And so we can take, we need all the help we can get, you know, to make this is one of the best premier institution in the world. And we got the resources to do it. And I want to have that opportunity, Mr. Lee, to invite those men and women to come here and just sit down and have a conversation on what it will look like, what it need to look like, and what it would cost for us to change the heart and soul. I think my biggest is for us to be at the next level. That's how I think. I think Tuskegee deserved that. I think Tuskegee deserved to be, if they want the best, you know, we ought to be the best.
In case there's a Tuskegee alumni that's on the phone tonight, Coach, that wants to pull out their checkbook and write a check for those improvements, have you got any financial projections in regard to what it's going to cost to upgrade? I know, number one, the training room and the locker room is going to be something that is going to have to be done immediately. Have you got any financial numbers on how much is it going to cost to do that?
Yeah, just when we talk about what's important now with the locker rooms of the men and women basketball, volleyball, also the tennis courts and the concession stands, restrooms for baseball, softball, and the press box, and then the locker rooms. I'm looking at about $8 million for what's important now. That's not including the stadium or the seating capacity or the upgrades to the whole entire stadium with the track. So that does not include that. So, but that's what we're talking about now. What we need now, and that's just a ballpark figure. Just coming up with some of the figures that's been given. Just need to sit down with Mr. Odom and Mr. Howard to have that opportunity